Well, you know, a very popular saying. In fact, it was popularized by Hajj Malik Malcolm X. He used to say, and I think this came from out of the Nation of Islam. You know, he used to say, of all our studies, history is best qualified to reward all research. And so it's very important, in my opinion, for this younger generation who, on one hand, are moving with light speed as far as information is concerned, but also, in my opinion, are not giving enough time and focus to researching history. I'm not even talking about ancient history. I'm talking about, you know, contemporary history, end of the 20th century type of history, because that would, in fact, serve as a basis for what's going on right now. Well, part of what's happening right now, and why we are, like I said, reliving the glorious 60s when I was a youngster growing up, you know, is because there is a revisionist version of that history that is constantly being pushed by people in power, and that's designed to take the power, take the focus, take the teeth out of the people's movement for freedom that was born during that period of time. So even when you see modern day conversation or discourse about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., modern day discourse about Hajj Malik Malcolm X, that discourse presents what I refer to as a homogenized image of both of those leaders. You know, very much so. I gave just last month, I gave a keynote speech at an event honoring Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And I quoted Dr. King in a statement that he made about police brutality. And he made it at the March on Washington, see? And number one, people were amazed. I had to tell them, no, that wasn't Malcolm X that said that. That was Dr. Martin Luther King, you know? And then he said it at the March on Washington. But with all of the publicity around his March on Washington speech, you never hear what he said about police brutality and how black people in the South live in a police state, he said, whose irony is magnified by the fact that we're in a democracy. He said we're in a democracy, but the black people live in a police state. Now that was Dr. King. So if we get a homogenized version of Dr. King, then you could imagine what kind of version we're getting of a Hajj Malik el-Shabazz. Yeah.